And I'm the type of person that it doesn't matter if the business is successful. If it costed my family, it was never successful. And that's something that I realized once I got married. It was like I started seeing the business more and more as this is just a tool to provide me with the resources that I need to live the life that I want. And I get to make an impact and dedicate that time to doing something valuable. But this is how it is. And I think that pushed me to sort of understand whenever I was like going too deep into it to realize, hey, what is the real reason we're doing this? And so now what I do is, how do I want my life to look like? And then around that, okay, what kind of products do I need to offer? Who do I help that I'm able then to make that a reality? And I think that it takes time in our entrepreneurial journey to be able to feel confident enough to get some clarity, but at the same time know that clarity doesn't mean much, but sort of you need to go with what you have, right? Because the game can always change at any moment, yeah? And so now what I envision is, I do have a vision of a physical place in Plovdiv. I envision this brick building. I was in London in September. I saw it and I took a picture of it. And so that goes on my vision board. But what I want to do there is I want to build a world-class training company. Not necessarily a family, a team, because we're there to perform. I want to really, in today's world, if you're not world-class, delivering results, experience, it's going to be really hard, especially in the service space. You got to have a world-class fulfillment, world-class delivery, so that people keep coming back. That is replicable. And so this is absolute must. And I see that there's a lot of talent in Bulgaria that, okay, maybe they have this vision of they need to work abroad and then eventually come back. There's a lot of people that want to stay and they don't feel like they need to go abroad and they want to find a way to build stuff there.
More and more. And I was surprised to see that happening also in Plovdiv. So it was clear to me that it will be there in Sofia.
Yeah.
But I was one of those, we were like a whole generation, especially in Plovdiv, who were educated, prepared, trained to leave the country. You know, we would start talking about leaving the country as soon as we got into high school.
Yeah.
This is why we pick certain foreign languages. This is how you start talking about, you know, the different education systems. Are you going to go to the States, to Germany, to whatever? So that your whole journey in high school becomes like a preparation for you to leave the country.
Yeah.
And they started changing, in my opinion, probably like 5-6 years ago, maybe even before that.
Yeah.
Partially, I saw it happening exactly in the startup bubble, as we call it. This kind of bubble was, I think, reigned or, I don't know, kind of like governed by a different mindset of people who are very multinational, who are very open to the world, but they would see Bulgaria as an interesting sandbox to grow international businesses and to build international businesses. And this is also what kept me in Bulgaria. Despite what I've been observing, only recently I was actually surprised to see amazing people in my hometown, which made me also very happy, and which made me also then start thinking, hey, maybe I should actually reconnect also with this ecosystem, because I live in Sofia and I didn't have any idea what is happening in Plovdiv. I would just go visit my parents and then I come back, you know. This is all that I've been seeing. Now there is, in my opinion, an ecosystem that is now evolving. And it has people just like you who have traveled, who decided, you know, to stay. People who are not even born in Bulgaria. Yes, they have their Bulgarian wives quite often.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. So, and I also love how we talk about vision boards as if this is like, you know, the most normal thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's an interesting global culture that we're kind of like developing. But tell me about your vision board. So the brick house and like, what is happening there?
But you know, now, especially as we get so close to the move, my wife, especially when she talks to other Bulgarians and she tells them that we're moving, you know what they tell her? You too? And so it's like, we're not alone. And it seems like quite a trend,
Yes.
which is great. I mean, you have a lot of talents, people who have networks abroad, people who have experiences, different perspective. And so I'm also super flexible. Like I moved to the US after, like from Venezuela to the US. I moved from US to Austria. Like I said, no, I don't want to stay there.
So you started in Venezuela, you moved to the US. From the US, you moved to Austria. And then from Austria, now moving to Plovdiv.
Yes.
People usually do that the other way around.
Yeah. And so I moved to the US. I saw something, like I saw a future life for me there that was not aligned with what I wanted. And so I finished my bachelor. I did my studies in the US. I studied business over there. And I knew like, I'm not going to renew my visa. I'm leaving. I feel like I need to go to Europe. And I started to organize myself, and it took me a while, but in 2009, I left US. I didn't manage to come directly to Europe after US. I had to go back to Venezuela for about a year and a half, which was great because then I got to work there. I got to revive my network. I didn't go for 6 years.
Let's talk about the vision board.
So I want to build a training company where what I see is that I have this framework that I have created that not only work for me, but it's working for other people. And I really want to grow this. This is our focus right now. And so this training company, the idea is that eventually, once I have things more polished, I start bringing other people to train with me. Because it's kind of interesting. Like I help people get out of service delivery, but I'm now the one delivering the service. But it's just a normal path. As a founder, in order to scale, you need to do the stuff that doesn't scale. At least in the beginning, to build that foundation is completely okay. And so once I have everything tweaked out and I figure out the systems, then I can start bringing people in and sort of start replacing myself along the way. The great thing about this is that these are people that are joining the organization from the very beginning, and they get to build career within the organization. So I'm now parallel, start building also my YouTube channel. I start creating more content there because I need to put myself out to the world so that the world can find me. And part of my strategy is also to go and speak at conferences, which is quite helpful moving to Bulgaria and having family, because then we have a support system that can allow me to, I don't know, travel for a week and don't feel like, okay, my wife is alone with the kids, like what's happening at home? Because those are sort of constraints that I'm building within my working process. And so the idea is to start building a team there, start building pipelines, work with the universities, start attracting local talents, provide them with an option of like, hey, you can also do cool stuff being here in Plovdiv. Like you don't need to go to Sofia, but you don't need to go there. You don't need to go to Germany. You don't need to go to other places. We can do cool stuff here too.
And if you're just as passionate about innovation as we are, hit subscribe for the Recursive podcast on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. We're everywhere.